All right, this is from Starts with the Letter. This is an inside racing question, hardcore racing question here. What size steering wheel diameter did you use in your NASCAR car versus your dirt car? Did you ever use different sizes at different tracks?
Oh, yeah, and we see that to this day. For example, Kyle Larson runs a really big steering wheel in his midget or even the littler cars with the motorcycle motors. I forgot the names, but whenever the steering is really quick, and you can't control it, you can't put on a different steering box. Look at Kyle Larson in his midget. Bigger the wheel, the smoother. 17-inch wheel, even bigger. So, but for some reason, I really got focused in, I think, on my 15-inch wheel. That's really worked good for me. And I started out really big, and then I got just a little bit smaller. And actually, I came across that little bit smaller wheel. I was up in, where was I? Not Kankakee. I was somewhere up in Wisconsin, and I tried it, and I liked it. But I would say not one size fits all. Find the steering wheel that fits you, and that's what you need to go with.
All right, I think we have a Canadian here from Canoeing Canucks. Was there ever a decision that you made on or off the track that you wish you could change, which in turn might have had a better result for your career?
Boy, that's hard to. Hey, I wished I was more talented, but I think that's everybody. Listen, Kenny Schrader. I'll take his quote. Somebody once asked Schrader, "Hey, what would you take back in your life?" He goes, Schrader says, I don't think I want to do over. It's been pretty good. Listen, I'm like anybody. If I had a chance to come back, I'd have a talk with God and say, can you make me Jeff Gordon? But then again, Jeff Gordon had a big divorce, and life is not what it's all cracked up to be. So my point is this: just because somebody can make circular rotations at a high rate of speed doesn't mean their life is good. So, I've learned a lot about positive mental attitude and sports psychology. Charlie, I got a pretty darn good life. And as far as one move on a racetrack, I don't look at it like that. I can't take anything back. And there's really nothing out there. I mean, I look at second place finish at Talladega all the time. Should I have pulled out and passed Earnhardt? Because I had a run on him at the start finish line. But I looked in the mirror. Back then, if you pulled out, everybody's like, you dumbass, and then they all would have followed Earnhardt, and I'd have finished 20th. So that's very hard. But no, I don't have anything I would take back.
All right. Sons of Liberty asks, so this person says, they totaled their truck this morning on the way to work, Herm. Guy pulled in front of me, and I hit him going about 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Thankfully, he was all right, and I only have a broken hand. What was your worst wreck off the track and on the track, and what were the outcomes for both?
So my worst injury on track was something I don't want my worst enemy to get. You'd have to hurt my family for me to wish on you what I had. I had what is called a positional vertigo. It happened in Loudon, New Hampshire. The rear end, one of the welds on the trailing arms, broke. And that 1991, the black number 36 Cox treated lumber. I'm sure there's some pictures or videos out there on YouTube, but it gave me a positional vertigo. And what that means, there's a gyro. The doctor explained it, Dr. Petty. He said, listen, a positional vertigo is this. There's a gyro in your head, and that gyro senses everything, right, left, up, down. And mine was knocked silly. And oh my gosh, it was the worst time of my life. That was the worst time of my life. And I would say, even on the racetrack, I was at a Goodyear tire test at, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard. And I spun out. Myself and Teddy Musgrave got the racing off turn 4, and I got loose. And I backed it into the tire barrier entering pit road and cracked my scapula. I've also cracked 3 ribs in that wreck up there at New Hampshire. But as far as I did something so stupid when I was a kid, as far as off track, I'm an idiot. I'm like maybe 13, 14 years old. And somebody said, hey, Wallace, if you breathe like 3 or 5 times real hard and you go, and on your 5th time, hold your breath and somebody bear hugs you, you'll pass out. I said, no, you won't. They let me go, and I fell flat on my face, broke my nose. That's why my nose is a little big right here. So I was a dumbass.
We all were. We've all had those moments like that. All right. So how about Mike Pranka asked, hey, Herm, what's your favorite dirt track in Missouri to run at? And then somebody else suggests that it's Tri-City. They may be wrong, but what's your favorite in Missouri?
So in Missouri, Tri-City Speedway is in Granite City, Illinois, right across the river. But we still claim that area over there. But really my favorite track is literally 12, 13 minutes from here, which is Kenny Schrader's, they call it Federated Auto Parts Raceway. But the real name is I-55 Raceway. And I love that racetrack. The pits are asphalt. You know, I just like the little track. It's easy for me to get to. And my friends run it. So my favorite Missouri track is I-55 Raceway in Peevely, Missouri.
All right. So Audiotron asks, what was your favorite moment driving in the Cup Series? I know you talked about the second place at Talladega behind Dale Sr. Is that it, or is there another one also that's up there?
I know there's some good ones. 1998, the Bud Shootout down in Daytona. Myself and my brother Rusty. Obviously, Rusty won because of me. It was a green-white checker, and they're waving. Well, it was a green-white, and Jeff Gordon was on pole. It was right after a caution. He missed the shift. Rusty goes in the lead, and when Gordon missed the shift, he pulls left, and I'm second row inside. So I got my brother Rusty and Jimmy Spencer running side by side, coming off of turn 2 at Daytona, coming to the checkered. And I went with Rusty, obviously. And I had to drag the brake. I was lifting him up so hard. I was pushing him so hard. And we got Rusty the Bud Shootout win 1998. That was an exciting first, second place finish. Never forget that. That night, our whole family went to eat. And I'm looking on the TV, and they're like, Wallace brothers finished 1-2. You know, in Bud Shootout. So that was national news. I would say that, you know, some other ones that were really good were, you know, when Steve Park got hurt, I drove that Pennzoil #1 car. Now, Charlie, let's be clear. My nickname back in those days was a super sub. I was never good enough to get a really good ride, but anytime them great drivers get hurt, they always called me. So Steve Park got hurt. I got in that #1 Pennzoil car, and I set quick time, led that darn race all day long. And Andy Petrie was Joe Nemechek's crew chief, and they pitted him 15 laps before me, and it's called short pitting. So Joe was able to be out on the track longer than me on new tires, and at the end, he just, you know, we finished first, second. That was a good race. And there were some other ones that Texaco Haviland car. I finished 5th at Martinsville when Ernie Irvin got hurt. So you kind of see that every time, you know, first of all, why did I last so long in the sport? Is because of that. Every time I got in a good car, I showed up and they're like, damn, this kid can drive. So that's what kept me in the sport, 905 NASCAR starts. So those were some great finishes for me.